Hey guys, what is going on? Thor here, and today I have a Photoshop tutorial for you guys so you can make this cool text effect that I have going on here. I have dubbed it an electric text effect. So yeah, let's get started. So what we're going to do is go ahead and open up Photoshop, obviously. And let's see if it'll open, and then just go ahead and make a new project. Go Command or Control New, or just up to File there. Name it whatever you want. I'll name it Electric Text Effect. And then if you want it to be a background, you're gonna have to find out the dimensions of your screen. I happen to know that mine is 1440 by 900, and then 300 pixels per inch gives a nice high resolution image. But if you can make the size of it whatever you want, and then you're gonna go ahead and click OK. So that'll open up, and then we are going to double click on our background to unlock it and just turn it into a layer. So that's fine. Make sure you have a black selected there. Say OK, and then go over to your paint bucket tool and just fill it with black, so we have a nice black background to work with. And then we're going to create a new layer and use our type tool, and in this layer we're going to select the font that we want. I have Minecraft font because I think it looks good with this effect. You can use whatever you want. That link to that font will be in the description, and 65 point font for a good size. And then make sure you got a nice white selected there, so that it pops a little bit, and you'll see why we want white in a minute. So just go ahead and enter your text. You just use Thor, and then to center that we're going to go ahead and click Command or Control, click on the thumbnail of the background layer, depending on whether or not you're on a Mac or PC, and just center it like that, and then use the marquee tool to deselect the background. And the next thing we're going to want to do is duplicate the text layer. So just name it whatever you want, and whoops, excuse me there. We're going to leave that layer alone for the minute and just work with the original layer. So select that layer, and then you're going to head on up to Filter, Stylize, and Wind. And you're going to have to rasterize the type, so OK. And under Method, we're going to select Wind and then Direction from the right and say OK. So then we have a nice wind effect going on there. And now to accent that, we're going to go Command or Control F and hit that twice to really bring that wind effect out. And now we're going to go back up to Filter, down to Stylize and Wind again, and this time the direction is going to be from the left, not from the right. So click OK, and then it's going to be from the left there. So just go ahead and do the Command or Control F trick again to bring that out. And there we go. Now we have it on the horizontal side of the text. So what we're going to want to do is go up to Image, Image Rotation 90 degrees CW. Click on that, and that rotates our image 90 degrees. And then we're going to go to Filter, Stylize, Wind again, and from the left is fine. It doesn't really matter which direction you start with. Say OK, and then do Command or Control F twice, and then go back up to Filter, Stylize, Wind, and then from the right is what you're going to want to do now, or the opposite of what you chose last time, and say OK. So Command or Control F one last time, and as you can see we have a nice blur wind effect going on. So then go up to Image, Image Rotation, and click on 90 degrees CCW to rotate it back to the way it originally was. And then we are going to double click on our original text layer, which is now rasterized, and click on the inner shadow to add a nice, I guess you kind of like dissipate the wind a little bit. And the settings there, you can mess around with them. I have an angle of 120 degrees, a distance of 5 pixels, choke 0%, size 5 pixels, and an opacity of 75%. You can play around with that however you want. I believe those are the default settings. And then you're going to go to Color Overlay, and now you can choose whatever color you want the edge to be there. I chose a nice green, something like that for my final copy. You can, blue, whatever. whatever you think looks best. So then click OK, and now we are done with that layer. So now you're going to want to go and double click on the second copy of our text and click on inner shadow to add a nice, punched in effect to the text there. It looks like it's behind, it's like pushed into the image a little bit. And the settings should be the same as they were for the other layer. And then go over to gradient overlay, and as you can see, it adds a nice gradient, but that's not the gradient I'm going to use. I wouldn't recommend it. I actually have my own lighter to darker gray gradient that I made, and there it's like a kind of a linear gradient, but I'm going to change it to radial since I think that looks better. So, and I have my opacity 100%, angle 90%, scale 100%, so click OK, and there you go. You have completed your text effect. And so what you did today was you rasterized your type layer, you added an inner shadow, a color overlay, and a wind effect to one layer, and the other layer added an inner shadow and a gradient overlay. So you are now finished, and you can go ahead and use this on your computer or whatever you want to do with it. Go ahead and save it. You can save it as a Photoshop document or a JPEG or whatever you want to save it as, wherever you want to save it as. But I'm not going to save it since I have it saved in two places in two different forms. So I appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and hit the like button if I helped you, and subscribe for more of this kind of stuff. Okay, see you guys.
That was easy.